Do you ever feel like you're trying to find 5 minutes in a day where you've already got 25 hours worth of stuff to do? Me too. If you're struggling to find that time for yourself, or whether you're seeing someone you care about caught up in life without space to breathe, then you're in the right place. It's our time. A lot of people will go through life telling you, I've got no time. And that can feel very, very true. But there are small pauses, heartbeats, breaths of time that get overlooked because they're perfunctory, right? You're going from somewhere to somewhere, or you're between tasks, and we don't notice them properly. So here's the problem. You're tired, burnt out, feeling like everything is too much and you just need that space to breathe, or you just need that 5 minutes where you don't have to be something to somebody. And when you are doing that, especially when you're alone or you feel alone, that can get really hard really quickly. But those perfunctory moments we were just talking about, what if they could serve a bigger purpose? No, I'm not talking about any higher power. That's not what I mean. What I mean is those moments that we're talking about, the time you wait for a kettle to boil, the walking from the car to the workplace, these moments that you have in life that everybody has that just get overlooked, right, or filled with another task instead. Well, what if we looked at those moments differently? So instead of walking from the car to the workplace, or the car back to the house, or waiting for the kettle to boil, you started thinking about the next thing you were going to do. What about if we use that time for ourselves instead? Right? By just taking a moment, admitting that it's there, and owning it. Because it is our time. No one else owns those moments. No one has a monopoly on them. Those moments are there, and they're there for you. Now, I realized this a while ago, and it changed my perspective on a lot of things, but not straight away. When I first noticed those moments were there, and that they weren't being filled with anything unless I chose to fill them, it got me thinking about how I could choose to fill them to benefit me. So what I started doing to begin with was planning content, right? Planning for this, for these episodes, for this journey that we're all on together. But that was me filling the time with the next task, right? That wasn't me taking the time for myself. That was me just bouncing from one thing to another and using those moments as a way to prepare for that. And the end result is I got burnt out very quickly. And I would get to the end of a day, and by 6 o'clock in the afternoon, when all my kids are still awake and none of them even showing the slightest sign of tiredness yet, I've run out of road for the day. I felt like I have nothing left to give. So I started looking at it differently, right? Those moments, I would think, what can I do with that time? You're talking minutes, not hours, minutes, and a single digit number of minutes. I would think, what can I do with that time, right, to help me to last the day? And something I started doing was I went onto Spotify, I found a playlist, and I would put on the playlist and I would just start breathing nice and heavily as if I was trying to go to sleep. Now I'm aware that breathing through it isn't for everybody. I get that. It wasn't for me either to start with. The time I spent at the start of that whole I'm going to just try the breathing thing for a bit, the times I actually spent, instead of just relaxing, dreading somebody walking in and being like, what are you doing? It took me a while to find like my rhythm and like how to do it for me. And I think when you go into it with a mindset of like, I have to do it this way, you're leaving all of this other space here that your way is included in, right? If you're trying to do it this way, but your way of doing it is over here, you're never going to find it if you're just focusing on doing it in this way. So the way it works for me might not be the way it works for you or for anybody else. You might find that music's not really your thing when you're trying to clear your head a bit. Or it is, but it's a different kind of music. Any number of things out there can help us clear our minds and take our minds off of things. It doesn't necessarily make me feel better. It just gives me enough breathing space so that then when I come back into the room or back into what I'm doing, back into my day, that I have enough clarity that I can kind of take things more steadily, not slower, but just be more steady in my approach. And the really interesting thing with this was that when I started doing this method, I saw more of these moments, right? More opportunities to give myself that moment, that breather, that time for me. And the snowball effect of that was that now, not much later, only a few weeks later, I'm starting to notice those moments more and more. And I'm taking them. Because if you don't take them, they're going to get filled with something else. And if you fill those moments up with other things, there's no moments left for you. It's okay to want those moments, you know. There's no shame in wanting a minute to yourself, wanting 5 minutes to yourself, wanting an hour to yourself. Perfectly normal and perfectly fine. But if you don't claim those moments and take ownership over them, they'll get filled with something else. Now, I didn't come to you with this method because I looked it up online or read about it in a book. This is something I found that worked for me in a very busy life where I work full-time, I have 3 children, I care for my partner, I run the house to 90% of all the stuff in the house as well. And like, I have a whole other life outside of just this one building as well. So trying to find moments, right, in amongst all of that was hard work to start with. And you kind of can't tell where they are. I kind of stumbled into my first one. Well, I just happened to have a 5-minute block where it was like, wonder if I do this. And it snowballed from there. So this isn't like research or preaching or, you know, something I found in a book. This is something that I started doing just on the cuff to see if it would work. And it's done me such enough good that I feel that I feel I can share it with all of you. So if you're out there in the world fighting the good fight and spending 25 hours of a 24-hour day being everything to other people, or you're simply just trying to get from the start of the day to bedtime, you really are not alone. And if any of you want to connect with me about ways you can implement this method in your own life, there's an email link in the description. I will happily talk to you about that. I'll read every email, every comment in the comments section. Because trying to do it by yourself is hard. You're questioning every step you make. But if you have that support, that's someone there, even if they're not in the room with you, as long as they feel like they're part of the journey and you have someone to talk to about it, it can make life a lot easier. I hope you try this method. I hope you go out and try this method. I hope it works for you. If you find that it does work, please let me know. If you find that you're struggling to get it to work for you, please let me know. I'm here to hear the good, the bad, and whatever you guys want to share, if you want to share at all. There's no obligation to. You might take this method and never watch or listen to me again. That's fine. But with each episode, we're going to dive into more things I've found to help me and more ways of applying that to you, right? Giving you the stuff I've learned simply by stumbling into it, right? Making it up as I go along, that I've found works for me. And I'm here and committing to showing you all of it and making sure that you all get the best possible chance of having those moments yourself. So that sounds like your cup of tea. Pull up a chair, send me an email, write to me in the comments. You're not alone. Together, we can build a community of people that doesn't just care, but they genuinely, actually understand. And sometimes that understanding is the hardest thing to find. Trust me, no one really understood it for me. I just want to take this moment to thank all of you that have made it this far for listening. And I want you to know that whatever you're going through right now, you don't have to go through it by yourself. Even if what you're going through you feel like isn't that bad, like you're just trying to juggle a family and a life and a job and other commitments. To a lot of people that's like, well, just get on with it. We don't use that kind of phrase here. Just get on with it doesn't enter into our conversation. So I want you to go and try the method if you feel like you want to. If you listen to this and your reply in your head or out loud starts with, yeah, but, it just means you're not ready yet, or you don't feel that you can make that change. That's okay. I was like that too. There's somebody I know right now that I care very deeply about who says, yeah, but to me when I talk to them about it. And sometimes reaching out and grabbing that change is the hardest bit of all. But for those of you that are still listening, here's the advice I gave to the person I care about. Ask yourself, do you feel a change is needed? Not do you need to change, but do you feel a change is needed in your life? And if the answer is yes, ask yourself what you want your life to feel like, or what you want out of that change, what the end goal is. So by the time my life has changed around me, and you've got the moments. By the time you've done that, I would like the outcome to be, or I would like to start feeling or be able to do whatever it is. If you can do both of those two things, you're halfway there. You realize that you need a minute and you want to change to give yourself that minute, and you know what you want to get out of it in the long run or in the short term. That's half the battle won. You know where you're starting from, you know where you're trying to get to. The rest of it is just taking it one step at a time. And we will do that here together. It's our time.